Oh my God, look at this YouTube setup. I don't like the background. Blue, no. That's better. We wanted to go flashy today because we're talking about the GODOX V100. This was sent to me by a GODOX vendor. Check the link below if you want to pick it up. And I did shoot it at one event, which was very, very fun. I got to try out it as a TTL flash, as a manual flash, and also as a controller, you know, triggering other lights. All right, let's talk about what you get in the box. You get a lot in the box. Sometimes you get too much in the box, and I felt like this unboxing experience was like, oh my gosh, more plastic. You get the flash, obviously. You get a battery. You get a charger. You get a charging cable. And then you get a bunch of accessories with, you know, some of these kind of round, creative plastic gel things you put on. You also get some rubber bandable gels. You get a lot of them, a bunch of different colors. You also get like a kind of, you know, little bounce reflector card. And it comes with a little external flash, which you put like a little flash unit you put on the front. We'll talk about that in a second. And it looks like the pouch that you get with it too has a little mini pouch to put that dude in. Anyway, let's talk about the flash. Okay, here's the V100. It sounds like a radio station.
V100.
So we have, you can shoot forward, you can shoot up, and then it has a little bit more articulation back, which is kind of neat, like that. One thing that is missing from the body, by the way, which I was a little surprised about, is some of the flashes come with a little manual TTL switch, which is a very convenient way to switch very quickly between TTL and manual. That's gone from here. And on the front, we have a autofocus assist beam. We also have, there's like a little, you know, super extra connector that I'll never use there. And then this thing right here is where you put your little removable flash. I should probably get it. Found it. You can see how much I love this thing. We saw this when the V100, sorry, the V1 Pro was released. They released it with this little mini flash. I will talk about that with positives and negatives of the flash. And here we go. To turn it on, we push, and then we get this little indicator here. You can either turn the wheel or oh, it already disappeared. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. You can virtually turn this wheel. Oh, and if you think turning the wheel will raise the power, it will not. It will just scroll between these three. By the way, I always have issues with usability, and I really want companies to create things specifically for me. But anyway, to activate your powers, you actually have to push the button first. Oh, not there. Oh. You got to push it again to deactivate that. And now you got to push it so that there's an orange beamy there, and you can either use this control wheel, or you can just use touch, which is a lot faster. Now, a note about the control wheel. The control wheel is improved over the old control wheel. On this V1, we have a wheel that kind of moves. You see how like there's a little bit of give to it. So not well constructed, but this guy does spin and also has 4 functions. So if you're used to that and you come to this one, there were so many times this weekend where I was trying to push the control wheel to do something and it didn't do anything. Now, I do wish the control wheel was a little fatter. They made it so thin that it kind of starts to get a little annoying on your finger. So you really do start using the touch button because your skin is gone. See here on this older flash, you can see that this control wheel is a little larger, a little bit easier to turn, and doesn't completely rub off your skin. So that's something else to think about. It's just so thin. I don't know why the wheel is so thin, but now on this readout to change from TTL to manual, you just tap TTL to manual. TTL goes up by 3rd stops and manual goes up by 10th. Now, if you press the home button, you get to the different modes. Wi-Fi off just means you're going to use your flash on your camera without controlling any other. Sender means that this is a commander now. So you will see the different groups of flashes. And to control a flash, you can touch and slide just like that. or you can tap the plus up 10 times. 10th power. Please give us the option to go to thirds. Now the M here is the flash unit itself, and then you have groups A, B, C, and D. If you notice, they're color-coded, which is great because that kind of fits into the whole new interface that GODOX has been releasing with their new beautiful little touch trigger, and also the AD600 Pro 2 9er. Now to turn off the flashes and cycle through the different modes, you just have to press and hold. So off, and then it goes to TTL. And then if you press home and call receiver, this just means that this flash here now is waiting for a signal from another commander or a trigger. So this is group A. And what's neat is you can change the group. Here are all the colors again. Be color-coded. Easy peasy. Now, if we dive into the menu, here are the options you have. You can actually change the power from fractions to, I like fractions. Call me a math nerd, but if you want to see the whole numbers, you can. It still goes up by tenths. You can choose your mode for your modeling lamp, your screen brightness, language, and that's it. Now, if you go back to the home screen like this, sorry, if you go back to the flash, oh gosh, the touch, yeah, that's it there. If you go back to this screen and swipe down, there's another menu. Now here you can turn the modeling lamp on. See that? You can also, wow, look at that, guys. It's crazy. Ooh. Now I want you to notice where the modeling light is coming from. We're gonna talk about that in a second. Here you pick your high-speed sync. You can turn on the autofocus beam if you need it. Now, by the way, if you want to get to the main menu, this menu here, you can hit home, or you can also swipe to the left. Now, I did find that sometimes if I was messing with powers or wanted to like raise the power of this, you actually don't need to put your finger all the way on the left. Like in our mind, we think, hey, the flash is at its lowest power. Let me put my finger all the way on the left here. You can actually raise the power from over here. You know, you could just touch anywhere and it'll come up. That way you could see the number. But what I was doing was I was going all the way to the left like this, and then it was going to this main menu. All right, let's talk about positives and negatives on the flash. The first positive is that it has more power than your typical, you know, V1 or V1 Pro. It has about one stop, almost one stop more power. One stop is double the light, by the way. So that means, like, for example, when I'm shooting events, a lot of times I'm on 16th power and 8th power sometimes to get this light to bounce off the ceiling. Well, that just means that now I can do 32nd power or 16th power. I can actually go down one stop, and that lets the flash recycle faster. That gives you more battery time. So that's a definite positive. Second, the user interface and the touchscreen is just such a jump from you know what we're used to, which is like this old dot interface. I mean, look at this dinosaur. So we're definitely moving into the future, which is really, really nice. With that said, oh no, we're doing positives. So the touchscreen is very bright, very colorful. You can see your powers. The wheel that takes your skin off. No, we're doing positives. Okay, and now some of the negatives. Now by negative, some of them are nitpicks and some of them are like deal breakers, okay? So, and by the way, these are just my deal breakers. Forget you. The first one is the on-off switch. I've talked about this 1,000 times on the channel, but if you have 3 of these, then each time you got to turn them on, it's a whole thing, okay? And that's with the new flashes as well. They are all press and hold to turn off. Not a big deal, but if you're turning this on and 5 other lights, I prefer the switches. The other thing that's great about the switch is if you're using a mirrorless camera and you haven't set a custom button to turn the flash off, because it takes up a custom button to do that. If I want to see the ambient exposure, on these flashes, I just turn the flash off, then the camera doesn't see that there's a flash on, and I can change my settings and then turn the flash on, and all is good. But with this guy, you gotta press, either gotta remove it from the camera or you have to press and hold and then go back and turn it on by unlocking. What are you doing, I ask? Raising my power. Going up by 10th power is kind of eh. You know, like shutter goes thirds, ISO goes thirds, flash tenths. And then the other negative, or not a big negative, but a little bit of a is there is no stopping at the exact power. Like, because you'll be going back and forth and back and forth. It'd be nice if there were a little bit of a, like kind of a hard stop and haptic feedback in the future. Haptic feedback where every time you hit a stop, like it buzzes. That way you may not even need to look. You can feel the buzzes as they go up. Now the other possible hang-up is the actual touch. I did a video on that. I actually shoot my flashes without looking at them because I've memorized the wheel and the power. And it's great if you're interacting with people. The second you take your face off the camera and have to look at stuff, that's time you're taking away from connecting with your subjects. That was creepy, sorry. Now this is a nitpick, but under the group mode, group C is kind of cut off, which is a bit of a pain. You see that there? So we have master, and then we have AB, and you have to scroll up to change C. In my mind, that completely removes C from the equation because I ain't got time for that. And here, look, on my 860 version 3, you can see that I have master and the 3 flashes, which is really helpful because I like to use those flashes. Oh, touch. This one for me is a little bit on the deal breaker side. Turning on and turning off the groups, like let's say you have flashes across the room, I'm going to show you how long it takes. Okay, so here we have the 860 version 3, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to turn off the groups. So all I have to do is go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so they're all off. Now let's say I want to turn them all on. I just go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's if I want them in manual. If I want them in TTL, I mean, it's even faster. So if we're gonna do the same thing here, what you have to do to turn them off is you just press and hold, press and, come on now. Press and hold, press and hold, press and hold. Okay, now they're all off. If I wanna turn them on, press manual, press manual, press manual, no, press, come on, press manual. You see? So it takes a little getting used to, and you have to really be patient. Well, you have to press and hold and cycle through, which brings me to my next negative, which is to cycle, if you go to the main page here, to cycle through TTL and manual is really quick here. You just go TTL manual, where you don't even need that little switch I was talking about on the side. But in this group mode, now all of a sudden we don't have a quick TTL on and off cycling. We have to press and hold. Now all this depends on how you use your flashes. For me, it's a mental gymnastics because of how I shoot, but for you, you could be totally calm, you know, totally moving through things slower than I do. So it might work for you. Next possible thing to think about is the top may not be magnetic. I'm referencing Wes Perry's video. I'll link it up below, but he discovered there's 2 versions. I have the magnetic one. This magnet works. Check out Wes Perry's video on that, but just be careful. Some of them are not magnetic. All right, deal breaker for me. So this is, where's my 863? This is my 860 version 3, right? I like to bounce flash off the ceiling or the wall, but also I've been doing video lately. Remember I did a video on that? If I press to the right here, if I go right and I hit the center button, look at that. I'm bouncing my flash off the ceiling and I have a little bit of light in case I'm shooting that B-roll of video of my client, and then I'm shooting photos, but I also have a little video light in case it's really dark. This also would help with really, really dark if I need to autofocus as an emergency. Turn that off. However, we now have a modeling light that is on the front. And now this changes the game because you cannot bounce and use your modeling light. Now, I wish this little accessory piece that they came out with, this is like a front flash. I would never use this. This is like, I don't know, I don't get it. But I wish this was a very large LED light that would give us, you know, that video shooting experience. So now if you want to shoot video, you actually have to point this where you want the video light And then maybe flip your flash if you're going to be bouncing up there, and then, you know, video light, and then bounce. All right, what do you think about the V100? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time.
Peace!